Morning, Raptor Freak Alexi out here. Friday morning, we're going to play the Charlotte Hornets tonight, resuming the NBA regular season after the NBA All-Star break. Finally, oh my gosh, this week seems like it takes so long. And for me, it's like making Raptors content every day. It's going to be a real challenge this offseason. I know it will be, but I'm going to do it, and I'm going to have fun doing it. Maybe they only make 5-minute clips, 10-minute clips for a while, but I'm going to do my best when the offseason starts. But we're back to the regular season, baby. Woo! Let's go, Raptors. It is time to face the Charlotte Hornets for the third time this season. We have beaten them both times we played them. Honestly, when we play them, what happens is we see an immature team compared to a young team that is mature. And that is the difference. The Hornets have a lot of talent. They got this new golden boy, this guy everybody wants to push, Adam Silver, LaMelo Ball. He's only in his second year. He's already an all-star. He did not deserve to be an all-star this year, y'all. Pascal Siakam should have been in his spot for sure. And the thing about it is they had a good season going for most of the first part of the season, the Hornets. But lately they have really struggled. It really kind of started around when we played them first. The first time we played them, since then, they've only won like 2 or 3 games, and they've had like 13 games. They have been getting crushed left and right by different teams. So it's like we need to continue that trend with the Hornets tonight. Now, they made one big move for the trade deadline. They got Montrezl Harrell. And Harrell has been an issue for us on the Washington Wizards earlier in the season. But honestly, at this point, our guys have got their shit together, and they're playing really good team defense, team rebounding, those kind of things. And we can negate the Harrell impact off the bench that was shown in the first game of the season. Harrell killed us. And the first home game at the Scotiabank Arena, the first game of the season, Wizards, he was absolutely a huge factor. I don't expect him to be a factor tonight, because in games since that first game of the season, we've shown that we can neutralize Harrell. And partly it's OG Anunoby, partly it's Precious, it's Scotty, it's all the big guys down low. They're doing their part to make sure they keep him off the offensive glass. Now, there's talented offensive players on this Hornets team, but once again, they're really kind of like they're not reined in. They're like wild young Mustangs. Like they don't have the discipline that you need to be a good playoff team yet. It's going to have to come with experience. And part of the problem with this team, the Hornets, is they don't have good leadership, veteran leadership in some ways. Like Terry Rozier and some of those guys, they're great players and stuff like that, but they're not necessarily the kind of leaders you want with LaMelo Ball. And LaMelo has to be the leader himself. And part of that problem is that he's really young. His play style is really crazy. And honestly, his play style isn't fundamentally good. He does not have good fundamental basketball habits. And he's going to bite them in the ass for a long, long time. And part of the problem is that he's not getting out of those habits. These habits are going to be a part of his career for a long time because he's not going to learn. This is how he's setting up his career. This is the way he's going to play. So I expect Charlotte to be a pretender for years to come, as long as their franchise player is LaMelo Ball. Because honestly, he is too wild and crazy. He's creative. He gets triple-doubles and stuff like that, but he doesn't do the little things to win the game. And that's what they're going to get exposed for more and more as the years go on in his career. Watch. So I really like our chances tonight. The injury report is looking all right. Fred's on it right now. His knee is still a little sore. He missed the last game before the All-Star break, that Minnesota game, if you remember. He played in the All-Star game. He did the three-point shootout. And Nick Nurse is saying that he expects Fred to play tonight, that he's listed as probable for the game tonight, and he should be back. So we shouldn't worry about missing anyone. He's the only one on the list. Everybody else is expected to go. Justin and Delano are called up from the 905. They're with the main roster in Charlotte. Meanwhile, Greensboro will see the 905 playing the Greensboro Swarm once again tonight. And hopefully they can beat them good again. Like, that was an exciting game. David Johnson with that last-second shot, the game winner to win the other night, was great. And hopefully they can just beat Greensboro. We can get two wins in the state of North Carolina tonight by both the Raptor teams. Now, on the other side, the Hornets have a bunch of injuries right now, honestly. Gordon Hayward is still out from that little tussle with Gary Trent in that one game. Yeah, he's still out from that little roll around on the ground thing that happened. Also, the Martin twin on the Hornets has actually been ruled out today. They said that he was probable, but I think he's going to be out tonight. They're saying that he's probably going to be out tonight. Jalen McDaniels, that other twin guy from the Jaden McDaniels from Minnesota Timberwolves, he is out tonight. Or actually, they're saying he's doubtful also. So I think that actually these guys are going to be out. And then Nick Richards is the guy who's actually doubtful still that might play. But Cody Martin, Jalen McDaniels, Gordon Hayward, all out right now. And their team is really interesting. I mean, they have a good starting lineup, but they're very similar to the Wizards in some ways. And it's not just because they got Harrell now. You know, Bridges, Ball, Rozier, Plumlee. These are the names on their team. And our guys are just bigger, better, and badder. And what we need to do is continue to do our defensive stifling. Like, we can really stop Charlotte whenever we want to. It's honestly whenever we decide to key in on our defense and really get together and communicate and rotate and just seal out their offense, we can stop any team from scoring when we want to, when we're really trying. And that's the thing. This team wants to try. This team has a leadership in the coach that's going to make them, push them to try and get these kind of great defensive periods and games where we just absolutely stymie a team. And I think what's going to happen after this break, since they've been off, they're going to come back fresh, and they're going to just come in and they're going to make Charlotte look really bad on offense tonight. I really predict this. Charlotte is one of the best offenses in the league in some ways this year. But I feel like the Raptors have had such good success against them in the first two games against them that we're going to see a nice period, like a quarter, where Charlotte completely cannot do nothing tonight. I really predict that tonight. I think it's going to be awesome. So, yeah, the Raptors should kick their ass. I want them to start this last part of the season, these last 25 games off right. Get on the right foot and kick Charlotte's ass right away, and then we're going to go to Atlanta and play the Hawks tomorrow night. These games are going to be coming fast and furious because in Brooklyn, Monday and Tuesday night. But this is the thing. Brooklyn played Boston last night, and they lost. They actually got routed, I think. They got routed by they got routed. They got beat 129-106 last night, but none of their guys showed up yet. Durant is not back from injury yet. Kyrie was not at that game. Ben Simmons, nowhere to be seen, and they got routed by that regular Boston team. And that didn't help us in the standings because we would have leaped ahead of Boston if Brooklyn had beaten them. But it's nice to see that Brooklyn still doesn't have their shit together. And I think it's going to take them a little bit to get it together because they're not just trying to add one superstar. They're trying to add three superstars to what they're doing right now. And the time is running out. We had 25 games to go, but we have the most games to go out of all the NBA teams because we have to make up game still. These other teams have only 22, 23 games left in their season. So the time is running out for the Nets. And hopefully on Monday night, we won't see any of those big names back yet. We can hopefully get these two games, Monday and Tuesday, out of the way without having all their guys back and integrated back in any kind of way. That'd be fantastic because two big wins over the Nets will really help us in the season series against them because right now they're up 2-0. So we can even that series out next week. That would be great. So let's just focus tonight. First one on, take it on time. But you know what? That Monday and Tuesday is going to come real quick, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be so fun. And, yeah, I hope they play Goran too. Banana Bread Tan, you said that on my last stream. It's like, I hope they play Goran. I do too. I hope they do put Goran out there. I don't know if Steve Nash will, though, because he knows he's going to be feeding someone to the Lions if he does. Oh, yeah. All right, guys, it's that time of the preview for the Real Mascot Matchup of the day. Tom Duke. When we last saw the Raptor, he had acquired electro powers, like he's the Electro Raptor. When he changes into his Hulk form, which is the Velociraptor from the Jurassic Park movies, like he becomes that when he does the Hulk. And when he's David Banner in his regular form, he is the Raptor, the mascot from the Scotiabank Arena. And he's just trying to live his life. He doesn't like getting pestered by the press. He doesn't like getting pestered by, NBA trade machine fans. He doesn't like getting pestered by people, the military, none of these people. He just wants to live his life and walk the world. And he's also got another new thing that he got. He acquired a pack of wolves. Yeah. He beat the pack wolf, the timber wolf in the woods as a husky, and he won the Alpha Wolf Award. So now he has his pack of wolves that can run in and help him whenever he wants also. So, the raptor keeps waking up in ditches, on docks, and weird places with ripped purple pants. And he's like, where am I? What happened to me? And he's walking around and he's just experiencing life as it comes to him. And he's walking through the woods, and all of a sudden there's he hears this buzz, and it's a really bad buzz. It's like he hears in the buzz, it's like, you killed our hive. And he's like, whoa, what's going on here? Because he remembered he kind of beat up a hive in the field a couple weeks ago. Yeah, he beat up that hive pretty bad. He knocked it out of the tree and he kind of kicked it into a river. And, these hornets are coming at him, and they're like, we're murder hornets, motherfucker. We're coming to get you. And he's like, whoa, he's trying to run. But these hornets are fast. They're coming at him quick, and they're starting to sting him in the back of his neck. And they're like, murder hornets. And they're trying to murder him by stabbing him in the spine, in the back of his neck. And the raptor's just a fun dude. He's the one from Scotiabank Arena. And he's like, no, get off me. He's trying to hit him off. And then all of a sudden, this noise happens. And he's getting angry. Because these murder hornets are stinging him in the back of the head. They're trying to murder him. And all of a sudden, he starts to change. His eyes get real light colored, and he turns into the Velociraptor. This is just like the Incredible Hulk TV show. I'm ripping it off, obviously, guys. You know that. I don't know how old some of y'all are, if you saw that Bill Bixby show or not. But yeah, that's what I'm ripping off. So he's getting stung by the murder hornets, and he changes into the Velociraptor. But he's trying to bite the hornets, but his teeth are too big, and they're flying in and out, so he can't get them. So he charges up real strong with his electro energy, and he's trying to shock them, but they're flying away. He can't get rid of these murder hornets because they're so tiny and small, and he's trying to get them. So the wolf pack shows up. Yeah, his buddies, the wolves, emerge from the woods. They're like guardians that kind of shadow him in his life, but whenever things go wrong, they just show up and help him. This is a writing trope that many sitcom or action show writers in the 80s used, that somebody's always there to save you when you're in trouble. So these wolves run in, his pack of wolves, and they just start chasing them. They chase the murder hornets. If they could catch them in their mouth, they chew on them and eat them like popcorn chicken. They do all that kind of stuff. And finally, they saved the Velociraptor because he couldn't get the hornets because they were too small. And they were murder hornets. They came to murder him because they were coming to get the hit on for what he did to their hive. Anyway, that's how it happened today. So anyway, it's so crazy. Didn't some players back in the day love the villain role and would welcome the booze? I feel like players are so pampered now. This is very true. And actually, there is a little bit of this to our Raptor team right now, that we are kind of the villains. We've been painted as villains for years because we're the Canadian team. There's color schemes with our jerseys. If you think about it, like the black and the red, that, they make us wear black sometimes. That is a very covert underlying statement about our team to the other people in the US and stuff like that. And the way they talk about us, they frame us. And now we're actually playing dirty. Now we're actually kind of walking with that swagger. We're tough enough. We're bad enough. We're athletic enough. We are owning it. We're owning it. They're saying we are fouling everybody. And they're saying, yeah, we are. And yeah, we're going to play physical. And that is something that smacks of the Detroit Pistons of the late 80s, early 90s. They had a reputation as they came from town to town that when teams saw the Pistons on their schedule, they knew they were going to get beat up. They knew that they were going to get physicality from Bill Laimbeer, Dennis Rodman, John Sally, James Edwards, all these different big guys, Rick Mahorn. These dudes were going to put you on your ass. If you came anywhere near the basket with the Detroit Pistons at the time, they were going to put you on your ass. And that's why they were fist fighting people like Larry Bird. Larry Bird threw arms on the Pistons many times. And these guys would be fighting, and people hated Bill Laimbeer. People absolutely hated Bill Laimbeer. Now, we don't want to get to that kind of Laimbeer and Rodman kind of hate level, but Chris Boucher may get there at some point. Watch him, because he's starting to irritate people. When he's getting his positioning for rebounding these days, he is getting underneath guys. He's wrapping them up with his arms. He's pulling a whole bunch of old Rodman tricks right now. And I love it, because it is a winning strategy. It is a way to win. He's getting to the free throw line recently because of it. Because when he fights with people on positioning like that, he can do something subversive with his arm and wrap somebody up. They don't see that. The refs see when the guy hits back at him for doing that. That's a classic Rodman move. And he did it a bunch in that Minnesota game. If you look and see, he got a bunch of free throws that game. That's what I'm saying. That's kind of the weird kind of role player kind of toughness, kind of like irritating, kind of veteran kind of stuff you need on a good championship team. And I love Chris for it. So there may be some guys on our team that may turn into kind of villains around the league. But I don't know. I think our whole team has a persona right now that is the same as kind of the bad boys back then. Nobody wants to play the Raptors. We've seen this year with guys holding out and mysteriously not playing during games when the Raptors are on the schedule. They don't want to play against us. They sit out for our game. And then all of a sudden, miraculously, they were able to play the next game. So we're getting a reputation for sure. And when people see us on the calendar, they know they're in for a fight. And they may be like waking up on that morning when they have a Raptor game, like, oh man, not this team again. That kind of stuff. And I love that. So yeah, I think that I don't know if we'll get booed. I think we're more likely to get admiration, because there's a lot of people in this world today that like people that go out and take things that they want. And when the Raptors do this, where they show that they're the aggressive team and they're working hard and they're outworking the other team, that just looks really good. And that attracts real fans of the game. Like there's people that really like the Raptors this year because they're playing so scrappy and they're like that. So I think that it's a balance. They do have some people that really hate them. Like Celtics fans probably hate us really much, a lot. You know, Nets fans, Charlotte fans, different teams may really hate us, especially if we beat them. Like the Bucks fans probably hate us. They probably really do hate Toronto. And that's the thing is like, yeah, there's going to be some people that hate us, but there's going to be a lot of people that are basketball purists, people that love the sport, that are going to love us and love our style and be like, these guys are old school and they're doing things in a team way that we respect and love. So it's a double-edged sword in some ways. Kenrick, good morning. Good to see you. I like the fact we got some rest. Hopefully Boston cooled off. Yeah, they did. They looked pretty good last night. They were scoring all right, pretty good. And Tatum had 30 points, and they had some pretty good balance in their starting lineup and stuff like that. But, yeah, hopefully we'll see. I mean, we still don't play them for a few weeks. We'll see where different teams are at that point with Boston and stuff. Raymond Jacob, they hate us because they ain't us. Oh, my gosh. I love that, Raymond. I love that so much. And I think that's true. Is some people really hate the Raptors because they see the good things we have going as far as Masai Ujiri, Nick Nurse, different players. Like we mine gold out of undrafted. We mine gold out of late draft picks. And they wish that their team was just like us. They wish that their team was functional. They wish that their owner wasn't a crazy man. They wish that their franchise players weren't fucking idiots that are like sitting out and doing crazy shit. They love the function and the way our team works is really, really good compared to a lot of teams. And I'm sure that there's fans of other teams like Knicks fan, people like they were like, oh my God, I wish we had some of the things the Raptors have. That's totally true. They do wish that. So, all right, let me see what else there is to talk about tonight. I really like, with the standings, we basically need to win and Boston needs to lose and we'll get ahead of them. That's all we need to happen in the next couple of days or so. I don't know if they're playing again tonight also. Let me just see if Boston's on a back-to-back. That would be great, actually, if they were. I don't think they are. They're off tonight. So, but Detroit did us a solid last night. They beat Cleveland. And this is the thing. Casey may be messing us up when we play them, but I love that they mess up other good teams too that are ahead of us. They now beaten two teams and helped us by knocking teams above us in the standings down a little bit. And Cleveland losing last night is really good. It's really good because hopefully they can lose a lot more going out through the rest of the season. Because if they fall out of the top 6, that'd be fantastic, because that means we can maybe get up there and solidify a top 6 spot for the Raptors. Oh, yeah. Last night, guys, I watched Parlay, the show on Crave about Fred VanVleet's life. I highly recommend watching it. It is really, really inside stuff about his life. You see a lot of things. The stuff that was really shocking and surprising to me was all of the revealing of the free agency process and the negotiations with the league and finding out where he was going to go in 2020 when he was a free agent. And actually, it was really scary when I watched it, because like I didn't realize how much he was actually thinking about leaving Toronto, because it seemed like the first thing that he was trying to do was get to Phoenix from the way that it was filmed. And I didn't like that. There were parts of that thing that made me really sad about Fred. And there were parts of it that I really enjoyed, because it was cool to see the behind the scenes, to see all the people that are close to him in his circle, to see, when I met him, he was just the same guy that I saw in the Parlay special last night. But it's crazy, because if the Suns hadn't picked up Chris Paul at that time, they might have gone and stolen Fred VanVleet from us. And it sounded like Fred was into that idea from what I saw in that documentary. And that's tough for me to deal with, because I want Fred here in Toronto. And I know that he deserves the money and stuff. And that whole part with him and Pascal on the phone where he said, you took all the money so I couldn't get more, that was disheartening also, because I don't like hearing these guys. I know money's important and they want to get paid and they want fair value. But honestly, in some ways, I really hope, I know once they take care of that, you guys got to have somewhere on your priorities winning with this team that you're on. And I know that's pretty high. But man, it was so scary to watch that whole process and to hear actually like how he's talking about Masai and Bobby and how they're tough negotiators and they're good at their job, and that how much there may have been with going back and forth with numbers between them. I know that Fred, like if it was going to come down to him getting paid the same amount by us or any other team, he'd pick us, because he doesn't want to uproot his life. He's going to he knows he's got a good thing here. But that still, having that portal and that insight into how free agency is with a player, and especially with this guy who I thought was like, man, I know he's a very loyal dude and he really sticks to his people and his life. But to see how actual close he could have possibly been lured away from Toronto during that process was really, really kind of upsetting to me in some ways. It was scary. Honestly, in some ways, I found that Parlay documentary to be a little bit too eye-opening and like, whoa, he could have been gone like that. And this year would have been, I don't know what would have happened if that had happened, if Fred VanVleet was a Phoenix Sun right now instead of a Toronto Raptor. Oh my gosh. All right. I've watched that. There's all kinds of great Raptor content all over the place these days. And I hear Serge is making How Hungry Are You Again. That's not technically Raptors content, but that show's back on the air and stuff like that. But it's going to be real nice to see. I don't know. There was a film clip yesterday of the rookies having to sing again in Charlotte at practice. That was hilarious, seeing Scottie, Justin, and Delano perform the regular rookie hazing rituals that happen. They're very innocent. They're not bad stuff like, fraternities are doing stuff like that. You have to carry little kids' backpacks and sing Backstreet Boys to everybody on karaoke or something like that. That's usually what it is. And they had them doing that again yesterday. It was hilarious to watch. It's just funny to see these guys who are not singers sing. Like their singing voices are really bad, really, really bad. But really cool to see them practicing in Charlotte all together, already there the day before the game yesterday. And I'm really happy that these 905 guys got a game in already 2 nights ago. Delano and Justin, and come in and play on the main roster tonight. Hopefully they can bring in their energy from already getting started into this game and help the Raptors get off to a good start tonight. Says, I really like our chances. Honestly, we are better than them talent-wise overall. We're bigger than them. We have more athletic skill than them and overall, and we should just beat Charlotte. We need to dominate them. like we have already this year. There's no reason for us to lose this game tonight. If we lose tonight, there's problems and some bad things happen. But I don't see it happening. I think that everything's going to be exactly fine. And just like the other games, hopefully we can control and get a double-digit lead. No funny business with the refs. Just start this stretch run of the season real nice with a nice win over Hornets. Go and beat the Hawks tomorrow night. All right, I don't know how much more there is to say tonight. Just a short preview tonight for the Charlotte Hornets game. Like I said, they have some injuries. Fred's probable for tonight. He should be playing tonight. I don't see Fred not playing tonight. And go check out Parlay. And as always, the open gym stuff is always very good. Oh, and the one other thing I want to talk about, it was really good to see the solidarity with the NBA family about Ukraine and what's happening right now. I know Alex Len had a game last night with the Kings, and all the players from both teams stood together with him in solidarity. And the message that him and Svi put out yesterday about their home country and what's happening is really powerful, and it means something. This is something that is affecting our team directly. And Svi has had a bad year in a lot of different ways. Well, this is really bad because this is something that's way beyond sports. And I really hope that everybody in Raptors Nation can be extra specially awesome towards Svi because of what's happening right now in the world right now. I read something that Michael Grange posted on Twitter just a little while ago about how people are fleeing that country right now. And it's just awful. There's really sad things happening right now because basically they're taking all of the men that are fighting age out of the lines, the army, and conscripting them into going to war to defend the country against Russia. And there's loved ones getting torn apart, men and women that are married, fathers of children that are having to go and fight. They're being taken and forced to go into the army to try and help hold off Russia. This is the kind of shit that happens during war. And this is awful. And the border to Poland right now is absolute mess and crazy with all the people just trying to escape. So please, God, we are all praying that we will get some sort of sane ending and resolution to all this sooner than later. And that the way things are going right now, it doesn't look like it's going to be a short-term thing. It's sad. It looks like there's going to be some fighting for a bit. And hopefully, oh my gosh, this is just awful. I hate what's happened this week so much. So please, let's send our love and support and care to all the people of Ukraine, but especially the one in our family, Svi Mahalik, because, we've been on him all season, Darren, and we need to be sweeter to him. At this time, we need to be supportive and loving to him. And it doesn't matter. This is more important than basketball. This has nothing to do with his playing time. This has nothing to do with him making 3-pointers or doing anything on the court anymore. This is just about being supportive towards humans, other humans. All right, Sue, good morning and praying for Ukraine. Yes. G saying apparently China's president is even calling on Putin to negotiate and not go to war. Nobody wants this. The children and the young youth of Moscow are in the streets protesting this war. The only people that want this are oligarchy of the Russians. It is Putin himself personally. Like, he profits himself personally from this. None of the people in Ukraine, none of the people in Russia, nobody profits from this except for the very rich in Russia. And that is Vladimir Putin. And that's why nobody's on this side except for the oligarchs of Russia, the disgusting rich looters who are trying to go and take a sovereignty from a country that doesn't want to have anything to do with him. And that is the problem right there, is the rich oligarchs of Russia are the enemies, the wrong people in this whole thing. And the people of Russia, the people of Ukraine, the people of the world are all united against you, Putin, and your bullshit. Even the people of Russia are against you. Yeah, they're not for this. They don't want this either. So this isn't a Russia versus Ukraine. This is the world versus Putin, basically, at this point. And because there's a global consciousness, everybody's so much more connected, whether it's social media, the internet, tweeting, whatever. We can beat this with love and compassion and the right communication between all of us. That is something that's so strong, something that we used in the pandemic that we can use to fight war now. And that's gonna be what's gonna beat this is the information war. It's the war of how it looks and how people just won't stand for war in the world, that we all want peace. And that's what we're looking for. Yeah, he wants the resources. Russia's economy is in the tank. They're in trouble. And in some ways, they're trying to do this bullshit that the U.S. does too, is help their economy by going to war. And that's part of it. And also get the resources. So there's a couple different things here. It's very pirate pilfering and philandering kind of bullshit. It basically, if there's a ship in the ocean, they're the pirate ship, and they just swung their ropes into the other pirate ship to try and steal their booty. And it's bullshit. It's so bullshit. Kenny saying, hope Ukraine get their freedom. War is not the answer. It's never the answer. And especially on this scale, especially, there's war in this world all over the place. And some of it should be talked about way more than it is, because there's awful things, genocide and different awful things happening in different places in the world. We just don't shine a light on it. But this is a place where there's a light that's going to get shine, because this is close to NATO. This is close to Europe. And, of course, it's so stupid and, Eurocentric bullshit. Yeah, we understand that's part of why. But, yeah, this is something that, could get bad. I know that the button is never kind of like on the table. Even though there's nuclear proliferation, this is something that possibly could happen. Nobody wants that. And even Putin's not stupid enough to do something like that. And even the stuff like talking about, will he go to Moldova? Will he go to the Baltics? Will he go to these other countries? No, he won't go to any NATO countries, because he knows he's going to step in it if he does. So it's really, he's going into Ukraine because it's just too attractive. The resource-rich Ukraine is too attractive. And, he can get away with it to a degree. He's estimated his risk and reward from trying to do this. And that's part of the reason why he's been so ballsy and he's doing this. And I like that the West, the U.S. and different powers are combating this with sanctions and aid, and that they're not sending an offensive to come there. But part of the problem is you're leaving the Ukrainian people to fight for themselves inside of their own country. And that could be really awful and bad. In some ways, maybe you may need to come help them right away. And that could happen. That could happen where the Western forces come and back them up and really help them push Russia back out. But yeah, this is really bad because people have already been dying. There's already been bombing. There's actual warfare going on. And it's Russia that started it. So it's really messed up. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Praying for Svi also. Yeah, Putin wants all of Ukraine's resources. Sue says we need to pull it together and Putin needs to go. Yeah, see, this is the thing. He can't. It's like he's ensconced in. He's really got a power structure for himself around there. He's protected. He's so incredibly rich and just messed up. The power he has is disgusting. And this is what madmen with power do. And that's why it's really kind of messed up. G's saying, Sue, that's why he doesn't care about the sanctions. He won't be hurting, but his people will be hurting. They're going to hurt that country really bad. And, he's not for his people. This is the epitome of, like, we got two sides of it. We have the democratic side and we have the Putin dictatorial side in Russia. And both of them have their flaws. There's just as bad people at the top in the U.S. side and our side with like money at the top and power just as bad as Putin. And they wield it in a different way. And the illusion is that we have freedom and democracy, but it's not much different, honestly, in a lot of ways. And we need to open our eyes to that. The difference between Putin and the difference between Trump or like a super rich guy, like the Koch brothers or whatever, those people is not that much different. And, he's a mirror to our own selves in some ways. Let's see. Kenny's saying he also doesn't want NATO forces at his doorstep. He really doesn't. And there's more, that's the thing about becoming NATO. And I don't understand why they didn't make Ukraine NATO faster or sooner. Because if they'd made them NATO right now, that would be an act of war on pretty much most of the Western world. And I don't understand. It may be that the negotiations or something with Putin, he's like, don't make Ukraine NATO because I'm stashing that goodie in my back pocket for later to go get when I need it. That kind of shit. So, yeah, it's totally true. You don't want to mess with NATO because part of it is also I'm hearing that Russia only has 190,000 troops right now mobilized. or available to fight. And they can't do too much all over the place. And if they get a whole bunch of people involved in it, they can all beat them down. So like going against Ukraine by itself is actually kind of even in some ways for Russia. So if we get involved, if other countries get involved closer by them, that's going to mess up Russia, because Russia isn't as strong militarily as we think. You know, they have apparently 190,000 troops involved in this situation right now. Ukraine can get the same amount of people also on their side. And if we start throwing ourselves into it, Canada, US, other parts of Europe, then Russia's going to get their ass beat. So that's what I'm hearing. And I get my information from pretty much one guy who I super, super trust. And if you guys want to know who it is, it's Bo of the Fifth Column. If you watch Bo of the Fifth Column, he's a guy who lives in North Florida, right near Tallahassee, where I grew up. And he is a ex-military contractor. He's somebody who's into tactics. He's into all kinds of different stuff. He really understands what's going on over there. And if you go watch his channel, he's making content like by the hour, like almost every 6 hours or so, he's making something new about what's happening in Ukraine. And I really trust his insight. I trust that he's going to tell us how it is, and he's going to really be able to answer questions that everybody has without any spin from either side. So Bo of the Fifth Column is where I'm getting my news source about Ukraine right now. I'm not even watching any of the news or any of that kind of stuff. I'm just listening to him and what he's saying, because I know I can trust him, and he won't give me, he's filtered through with the stuff that you really want to hear. Let's see. Sue's saying, did you hear Trump call Putin a genius? These two are horrible, and we need to come together to rid or keep them out of power. Just their agenda. Yeah, it's. I mean, this was the way it was all along. Putin has been very successful at fucking up the United States in the last couple of years. That Trump, in a lot of ways, is a deep cover agent for them. Putin is a former KGB agent. He's always been a dictator. Such a shame that he fooled people to get into power. This is the thing. He fooled the U.S. into putting Trump into power. He was working for them and helping them all along. He's always been a Russian agent. And all these people that follow Trump so blindly, they're idiots, because in the 80s, they were like, I hate Russia, 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 Russia. And now they love Russia on download. They support Russia's poster boy in the U.S. They don't even realize that, these idiots. That's how, like, they're not only treasonous, because the January 6th thing has to do with Russia also. It all is connected. And it's hilarious that Trump is so wide out and showing his stripes now. He's saying that he's a genius and that he supports what they're doing. And they're like, oh, Ukraine is wrong, so they need to be there to do that. Oh, my gosh. He's partly getting his Trump supporters on this continent to support Russia's invasion because he's going around saying that Ukraine deserved it. That's the kind of fucked up shit that Trumpism is doing. Trumpism is basically like Russian KGB covert operations in North America at this point. It's so plain as day. Anybody who follows Trump, you're basically fucking a Russian person. You're like a Russian sympathizer and a Putin sympathizer at this point. So G saying Putin did not want them to be a part of NATO. They were behind the scenes politics and people are suffering. Yeah, I'm sure he was pushing that off and saying, no, you can't get that. Like, I was so happy when Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania got NATO, because that really is a safety card. That is something to give you safety. And, they probably were pushing behind the scenes in all kinds of different ways to not allow Ukraine to join and stuff like that. So Sue saying a number of GOP have come out and agreed with Trump about this invasion. They're idiots. They're supporting dictatorship, which they said they always fought against. Hypocrites. Yeah, they're not Americans. They're not for democracy. They're not people that are for freedom. And that's the thing that's getting clouded in the States right now, is all these people think they're freedom fighters. Even these stupid ass truckers that are in Canada right now. They think they're fighting for freedom, but in some ways, they're just a tool for the Russians in this continent to fuck up political things that are going on here, to make unrest in our countries of Canada and the US. Is that their money comes from Russia to Trump money, and Trump people's money comes into the convoy. and feeds money to that fund for these convoy guys to be running around, stuff like that. It's all connected. It's all fucked up. So honestly, if you're a Trump person, you're implicated in this war right now because you're supporting this. You're supporting war, and you're fucked up. Oh my gosh. Paul B saying Trump can't even run a state company on it or a TV show. You think he can mastermind some ploy for Russia, or is he just a dumb pawn? He's like a Manchurian candidate, Paul, if you're familiar with that term. He's basically always been friendly with Putin. And don't act like Trump is stupid, because he knows what he's doing. He's not that stupid. He's stupid in some ways, but he's savvy in others. And one of the ways he's savvy is in money and in business. I know he's lost a lot of money and stuff like that, but he's an opportunist. So if he's friends with Putin, he's talking to him, they're talking about opportunities off each other. And if Trump's only worry is himself and his bottom line in his life, then he's going to sell out the U.S. He's going to sell out people left and right for Putin. And Putin can see, once again, he sees Ukraine in an opportunity to enrich himself. He sees an opportunity with Trump in his relationship with him. He can basically say, yeah, and manipulate him and do this and do that. And that's basically what he's been doing the whole time Trump was president. He was a puppet for him. He really was, because he would agree with him. He'd kowtow to him. Everybody's saying, oh, Trump's doing such a good job with relations with Russia. That's because he was a fucking bitch. That's why he was having such good relations and there was such a peacetime during Trump, because he was being Putin's bitch. And like, honestly, he allowed the division, and the part of the subversion of Trump is that he's caused such a divide in the U.S. between people, where he's basically divide and conquer is happening. Putin's strategy is to divide the U.S. and conquer it by having people against each other. And Trump was the perfect tool for it. So it's not even that Trump understands what he did totally in his body. It's just he did it. And that polarization he was the vehicle of it. And he could be stupid. There could be George W. Bush wasn't the smartest guy in the world, but Karl Rove was pretty damn smart. So there was probably somebody near Trump. Maybe it was Bannon for a while. It could be different people that was working in conjunction with them. And that's why these things are so important to look at. The connections Trump has with different associates, with different Russian people and Putin. And then the whole smokescreen with Beau Biden and the Ukraine shit was just smokescreen and distraction from his own shit. Like the golden shower shit, all that kind of crazy Russia talk. I believe all that shit, that he's been over there. He's done things with Putin, that they're in cahoots. And him saying that he thinks he's a genius this week and what he's doing just kind of outward proves it. And anybody in the U.S. that supports Trump, you indirectly support Putin at this point. So anyway, I know we just went on a whole political 15 minutes and stuff like that, but this stuff is interesting to talk about. And like I said, the more we share information between each other, the more we're informed and the more we understand what's happening in this world. So Sue saying, unfortunately, divide and conquer has worked throughout history. Just what Hitler did. It's so sad that people don't see it until it's too late and we all suffer. Yeah, I mean, that's part of what, in my own life, I know I can be I'm very left, obviously. And I have a lot of friends that are right and people that are very conservative, because I grew up in Tallahassee. And over the years, some of them I've gone away from, I don't want to talk to anymore just because we can't reconcile things. But a lot of them I do stay in contact with. And it is important to have those links with people from the other side and show that there's humanity on both sides. Because it's real easy to just be like, well, you're stupid, you're an idiot for thinking that, back and forth, and not realize that we have way more in common than we have opposite. And that is part of the problem, is that there's a lot of forces out there, CNN, Fox News, the media, Trump, they're trying to push us apart by making rhetoric, talking about this. It's, preying on paranoid fears that people are coming to take their jobs, people are coming to take this, move into their neighborhood, all that kind of stuff. And so the more educated and aware, we have a lot more people in this world that are like us, that are everyday people, that are intelligent, that understand what's happening and can think for themselves and are not just so left, right, Biden, Trump, bam, 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 bam. Because honestly, they're both the same, really. And really what we need to start doing is collectivizing as humans, as populace populists. We need to be populists and be the people and be like the kids in Moscow that are not taking this, that are in the streets, that are protesting this war right off the bat in their own country. Be like the people wherever it is that are for the people on the ground, whether it's the people of Ukraine who are having violence in their country all of a sudden, or wherever. I don't even, people downtown Ottawa, they're just trying to live their lives. That's who you should be for, is the people. And the common people, not the people who are causing the problems, not the people who are invading and causing issues and stuff like that. Like this convoy stuff is going on in the States now. They're copycatting us in the States from up here now. And there's going to be all kinds of idiocy down there that they've got to deal with at this point. But at least ours is kind of getting done. And anyway, we're just about to open anyway. Like on March the 1st, everybody can go to the Raptor game. And that's the sign of things are changing. And they didn't do jack shit to change it. It's not the trucker convoy. It's the pandemic got better. We all got vaccinated. We stayed home and the numbers went down. And now we are allowed to go back and be out and among things. Some people just have a hard time with people telling them what to do. So they become idiots and they're like, oh, you're telling me to stay home? You're telling me to wear a mask? And they get all pissed off and they're like freedom fighters in their own mind. But it's like, dude, you're not a freedom fighter. And it's not about complying or being a bitch to the system or anything. It's about humanity. It's about doing for the common good. It's for doing for everybody, that kind of stuff. So it has nothing to do with freedoms and freedom this. Oh, I want the freedom, the right to be, smoke cigarettes and kill myself if I want. I don't want freedom and right to not have to wear a mask, stuff like that. That's great. That's fine. But don't come piss and get mad at people who are trying to do things to keep themselves safe and stuff like that. So Tom Duke, good morning. Peace to Ukraine and the whole world. Go Raptors. Yeah, that's a great way to end it. Tom, I did the mascot matchup. You'll have to go back and watch it. It's a little weird, but it is what it is. All right, y'all. Tonight, Charlotte, LaMelo Ball, you going down. You weren't supposed to be no kind of all-star. It should have been Pascal Siakam, and I hope Pascal comes out there and he has a badass all-star level game that just outclasses the Charlotte Hornets in every kind of way, where he's slicing and dicing their defense and they can't stop him. They can't stop him with his spins. They can't stop him because if you give him a little bit of room, he's going to hit the shot over you. Oh, that's what I want to see tonight. Masterpiece Spicy. Oh, yeah. Let's get that heat level. Habanero, ghost pepper up to the height of heat in the mouth where they go and they're just, you know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. Sue's saying, come together and join the Raptor Freak family at the Raptor game. Sport brings people together. We need to do what we can to heal. Just real quick, now that Sue said that, the Miami game with Kyle Lowry, when he returns April the 3rd, Monique and I are already planning to get together at the game because she's going to be there hopefully, and I'll be there also at section 116. And the closer it gets to that, anybody who gets to that Lowry game, that Miami game in April, we'll have a good get-together of some of the people from the channel if people can get there to that game. So just so you all know. Banana Bread Tan, bro, this is a NATO thing. Look up Dr. Steve Cohen. I don't know if this is a NATO thing. What NATO is good. Let's put it that way. NATO stops Nazism and communism and different things from spreading in Europe. And it's just kind of like, that I don't understand if you're saying if it's a good or bad thing. NATO is important. Let's just say. Yeah, that's the spicy. Raymond Jacobs saying, who will win, though, Ukraine or Russia? Well, I was saying earlier, Raymond, I hear that there's 190,000 Russian troops. The Ukraine has a pretty even number. It's just that they're not organized yet. They're going to basically have to conscript their people and get them together to go fight. But this is the thing. I don't think that Russia can take Ukraine. They can take Ukraine by itself. But as soon as somebody else gets involved, Russia's done in there. Like they don't have as big and bad a military as they've had in the past right now. So Sue's saying, cool, I will try to get ticks to that game. That will be fun to see some of you guys. Okay, yeah. If you can get to that game, Sue, we're going to have we'll definitely take a picture for sure, whoever get there. You're saying you're behind in the stream. Okay, yeah. I actually mentioned you. You got a reference earlier in the stream from your comment last night. Russia has beef since Gaddafi. Listen, Russia's fucked up. Let's just put it this way. Putin is a madman. He's an oligarch. He's collecting wealth personally for himself. He doesn't care about his people. He's a dictator. And this is a dictator move. This is a really bad move. So there's no question that Putin is the bad guy. In Ukraine, there's some other bullshit. They're trying to say that Ukraine's ran by Nazis and stuff like that. Well, even if they're run by Nazis, that's their own damn business. And that doesn't justify him to come into their country that they've claimed sovereignty and it's recognized around the world that they shouldn't be coming in there and trying to take the resources and invade a country, because that's a bad look. Russia's done that all throughout history, and it's really, really bad. And I thought we had progressed beyond this kind of bullshit in this world, that we were a little more connected, a little more humanistic and stuff like that. But no, greed has no bounds. And that's what Putin's driving on, is greed. He's purely driven by greed. So, yeah. Let's see. Banana Bread 10. Maiden in 2014 was horrid, man. I'm not sure what he's saying. They burned a building full of people. It just wasn't on the news. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go. We're almost to an hour. And I know a lot of the content today was about Ukraine, but this is something that matters to me personally. And I know it matters to a lot of people in the world right now. And like I said, any forum for us to share information and ideas about what's going on and really kind of like, reinforce things like that are important about this Ukraine situation is stuff like that. Okay, Banana Bread 10 saying the world is horrid all over. He's from Haiti. All right, yeah, Haiti is a real hellhole in a lot of different ways for different reasons, and it's sad. So, yeah, I totally get you. But listen, the one other thing that I will say about that is we all can live in bad places and have bad things going, but it's where we put our focus. That even in the ugliest, darkest places, you can find light. And it's about looking for the light and really embracing it and going in that direction. And I don't mean dying, but I mean, like, if you see positives in your light, put your focus on that and it will grow. And even in really ugly, bad situations, you can make a nice happiness in it, because sometimes we don't get to choose what's going on with us. And it's a really bad situation. And there are always coping mechanisms and survival instincts that you can use to try and get through those dark times. But yeah, man, you know what? Haiti has had more than its share of misery. And I think about that the stuff that's happened there has never gotten news coverage, and it's messed up. Wyclef Jean has done so much to try and get a light on that place in different ways at different times, for sure. Yeah. All right, guys, take care and stay positive, saying Tom Duke. I know what it's like to be bullied. True. Jesus. Find the light. Yeah, man, check in anytime, Banana Bread 10. Listen, basketball is part of life, and life is basketball, but life is also life. And we got to talk about life. And right now, there's some bad stuff happening with war. There's always bad stuff happening in different parts of the world. We don't get to focus on it and talk about it sometimes, like in Haiti. But, we're humanity. If we are love and peace together, we can do so much more and beat this in different ways. Trust you. Yeah. All right, guys. All the best. Let's go. Raptors beat the Hornets tomorrow. I will have my reaction to the game tonight. Hopefully, it's just going to be a nice, sweet victory. And then previewing the Hawks tomorrow night. There's no rest. We are going through the gauntlet this week. The first night of 6 games in 8 nights. It's going to be so fun. I can't wait for Brooklyn on Monday. Oh, my gosh. I can't wait for Brooklyn. But tonight, first, the Hornets. We got to keep beating these immature Hornets that don't play no winning style of basketball yet. They've been getting around on their talent and just offensive craziness, but they can't beat anyone in the playoffs. Trust me. Oh, yeah. All right, y'all. Have a great day. All the best, Paul B. All the best, Sue. Banana Bread 10. Raymond Jacob. Tom Duke. Everybody, thanks for being here this morning. I'll see y'all in the morning tomorrow. Let's go!